how much better has he been than you expected, though? Because I mean, going back at the start of the season, none of us even thought he'd be the starting striker, really. Certainly, none of us picked him to be the leading scorer. Although Rossi obviously was higher on him, I think, than the rest of us. But how good has he been, and how much do you reckon he's worth now?
Yeah. Loads better than I thought, and I challenge anyone to say otherwise, because I think, by all accounts, he even surprised Kieran McKenna. From what I gather, he was obviously signed as someone who they thought could have huge potential. Anyone within the game kind of knew of this kind of freakish power, this kid who's come through at Man City that had been given a few chances under Pep. You don't do all of that without having something a bit special about you. But he'd had a couple of mixed loans at Stoke and Preston, and then he'd had a few, he'd had a bit of an injury setback at Hull, despite doing some eye-catching stuff there. And Ipswich clearly wanted another striker last summer. We know that with Broja and attempts to get Latte Laff. So I kind of thought he would be a bit of a play the odd game up front, play the odd game right wing, would be sort of an in and out guy. So for him to have been the sort of virtual ever-present number 9 and to have now hit double digits has far exceeded anyone's expectations. I really like this goal because I guess the debate is, you've got to show a bit more all-roundedness to you. We know he's been this sort of battering ram who can hit the ball ridiculously hard. But that was a proper centre forwards goal. That was sharp movements in the box. That was a deft finish under pressure. Got a similar one at Brentford, I think. Got a bit of a scruffy one, penalty box goal against Spurs. But in general, they've been kind of a lot of self-made goals. So to add that to his repertoire is important. What's he worth? Well, I mean, it may not matter if buyback clause reports are correct. Talks of that being £40 million for Manchester City. I still need to do more digging on that. There has been a lot of phone calls made on that. I'm hoping we can get to a stage where we can get a bit more detail, because I think the devil will be in the detail here. It won't just be a standout number. It will be when that can be enacted, whether other clubs can then match it, etc., etc. Does it change then over transfer windows, which I believe is the case? But yeah, a hell of a lot more than they paid for him. In answer to your question, it was 15 with the potential to rise to 20. That will almost certainly have hit those clauses. Ipswich, if they go down, he's almost certainly going to go. Even if they stay up, there's a good chance, isn't there? Let's be honest. So,
well, that's the next question I was going to ask you. Is what chance do you think that he's still here next season? Clearly, as you say, if they go down, he's gone. If they stay up, there's still a good chance that he's not here, I'd say.
Yeah, purely because, if they stay up, Ipswich obviously won't be as desperate to sort of recoup some money and fill the void of TV cash and all that sort of stuff. But they're such almost a dying breed at the moment, such a rare breed, these old-fashioned number 9s. Everything goes in cycles. Liam was asked about this in the pre-match last week, about why are there so few strikers of his type now. And I think probably Messi is the answer to that, because we've gone through an era where it was really everyone wants to be a tricky little number 10. Everyone wants to be a false 9. Everyone, but it always comes back round again. Everyone plays a certain way. And now you can see in the Premier League this year, everyone suddenly went down the Man City route of possession, and all of a sudden a few teams start to go, well, hang on, we can't compete with that toe-to-toe, so we've got to find a different way to counteract that. And like Forest are an example, and there are others that start to play a little bit more direct. And so, yeah, the old-fashioned number 9 is coming back into fashion. And there's plenty of big clubs that need one and want one at the moment, Chelsea, United, etc., etc. So it's going to be difficult for Ipswich to keep hold of him, but hopefully they can kind of name their price. But that's all dependent on what this buyback clause situation is.
Well, let's enjoy him while he's still here, because what a wonderful season he's having.